Alrighty guys, so I've been thinking on this project here again for the rain harvester, and I fished out of my garbage the ceramic filter that broke off. The glue came undone right here. Inside is a mesh screen, and if I take that out, it's not fastened by any means, it's just pushed in there. Pretty tough to get out though. But anyway, if you look, will that see on camera there? Maybe. I may put this in the bottom of that container, and then put my gasket and a wing nut, and then attach that tubing into the IBC totes. But the thing is, if you look at this, I got to bust out the rim of this plastic so water can flow and get into the center without going over top of this section. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cut and make this work so I can reuse this piece. That way I don't have to use silicone and make it look nasty redneck. So I could put this in the bottom, drill a hole, put this in the bottom, use my rubber and that wing nut gasket just like the filter setup, and then put the tubing up over top. Done. No silicone required. But I do have to hack this apart, so I'm going to attempt that and see you guys back when this is done. Alrighty guys, so what I did was I took my side cutters and cut a slit in the bottom of this filter. Then I cut a slit in the center filter there. You can see that, so water can get down there at the lowest level possible. And then I slit this other one in the middle, kind of. Now all this other stuff in here can't get off. It is hot glue gunned on. Some of that's charcoal, some ceramic, but mostly it's glue holding everything together. I pulled the filter out, and interestingly enough, here I'll show you what's under there. It's just a screen basically, but I got to show you this because it's kind of cool. So it's a fine mesh on the bottom, but it's like a more denser chicken wire on the top, and that's all that's in there. And just some little charcoal particles that won't hurt anything. And I'll put those back in, put the filter back in there. So basically, I'll grab the bucket here, and now all I got to do, since this is definitely going to go into the bottom of this instead of the side now, I just got to pop a hole in, probably in the center here, and use that as my, this thing's going to drop inside of here all the way down to the bottom. Then I'm going to put the rubber in, obviously, and the wing nut. And I have a lot of stem there, so that'll work. There's my parents. Okay, so that was them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my entertainment setup. They want me to, they're going early because it's some kind of special one. It's 3 till 6, so we're getting some kind of deal there. So I'm just going to leave everything, lock up the tiny house, come back and finish this project for tonight. But I think I got it down pat, and now I just got to dig up the rubbers and the wing nuts for this, do some drilling, and I think everything's going to turn out just okay. So I will be back after a while. Alrighty guys, so back from the nice dinner that my parents bought for me. It was fairly cheap. It was $21 for 3 of us, and it was pretty damn good. I'm totally full. Now, an issue that came around with using this cheap plastic and what I had around the tiny house is it cracked when drilling it, and I pre-drilled with a smaller bit and worked my way up, and it's still cracked. It's just thin plastic. So what I did was I put it in and put, you probably won't be able to see it, but the thick black washer on the inside, so it's not actually touching the bottom of the it's not flush to the bottom of this thing. So, and because it cracked, I said, well, hell, I'm going to take one of those other washers from the new filters and put them on here. But first, along the hairline crack, I poured a ton of glue, that Dollar Tree glue. And then I cranked this tight down. So the glue actually went around the entire washer and the crack. And I'm just got it under the fan here. And I'm going to let this air dry before I disturb it too much and hang it under the rain harvesting setup. So the downer to this is I now have a space that's probably 1/8 of an inch above the flush mark. But I guess that's what I got to live with. At least it'll stop the flooding, we hope. So I'm just got the fan, I got it set under the fan. I'm going to let this air dry out before I do anything with it. And we'll go over to the, I got messes to clean here. We'll go over here to the draining water, and it's still draining, guys. It's unbelievable. Let's check our level. Just above that red sticker now. Hasn't filled very quick, actually, so that's kind of a downer. But then again, when that new contraption gets installed here, all this tubing's gone. There will be no more air locking. And if you guys don't know what airlock is, basically, if you tried to fill this container that was sealed and closed up with water, the air that's inside of there will get to a point, when the water level gets to a point, the air inside will be pushing back harder than what the pump rate is of however you're filling the tank. And so you get it stops filling because the air pressure is pushing back, fighting against it. So what I did in order to do that, I punched in the top here, I pierced tiny little holes, lets the air out, lets the air pressure out. And this is open here, to open air there too. But there's no, this is like a vacuum basically. There's water sitting in here. There's no air inside of here, or the air that's in there is kind of like a vacuum trapped. So as water fills this up, it makes the drain really slow because it doesn't have atmosphere in there. That's how I can explain airlock for you guys. But anyway, yeah, I'll get back to you once I let that glue dry.